and of course, personnel from the Diane and Holly Arizona Burn Center here. So 6 survivors were airlifted aboard an Air Force C-17 from the Pearl Harbor Hickam base, and they flew directly to our airport here in Phoenix, the Sky Harbor Airport. And at that time, they were met by Phoenix Fire Department, and they were transported in 6 different ambulances, the relatively short distance from Sky Harbor Airport to Valleywise Health Medical Center and up to the 4th floor, which is where the Arizona Burn Center is. And I really can't say enough about this whole process. I've been around for a while, and so I've seen a few mass casualty events, and this was really amazing how we were able to get all of these people working together and transport 6 really, really sick people over a very long distance from one institution, actually from 2 institutions in Hawaii to the burn center very quickly, efficiently, and safely. So I'm really pleased and proud to have been part of that process, and kudos to all of the people who are involved who don't get to sit in front of you today and take kudos for this. Everyone involved showed commitment, collaboration, and dedication. And again, kudos to the people at the Straub Burn Center in Hawaii and Queens Medical Center in Hawaii, and both of those are in Honolulu, for their care of the patients and getting them prepped to come here. So I can give you a broad overview over what happened to these patients, but I won't be able to speak in great detail because of privacy concerns. But I will tell you what I can. So there were 6 survivors. They're all relatively young people in their 20s and 30s. All of them have very extensive burns. I think the smallest is about 45% total body surface area, almost half of the body burn, and the largest is just under 80% total body surface area burn. All of these people required breathing tubes and ventilator management. Many of them required emergency surgeries before they were able to be transported here. And a number of them have traumatic injuries in addition to their burn injuries. In addition to the flame injuries, there were a lot of explosions and a lot of particles flying through the air, and almost everybody has multiple projectile injuries, and some of them are severe and some of them not so severe. So the Air Force did a tremendous job of caring for these people, not only transporting them, but taking care of them over a long period of time and over 3,000 miles over the ocean. And we've got them settled in on Saturday night, and we started operating on them yesterday morning. We were actually able to operate on all 6 of them yesterday, and we've continued our surgeries today on 3 more. We'll do 3 more surgeries tomorrow. By that time, we should have all of the burns off of people, which is our primary goal, and then we start closing the wounds and skin grafting. And that's what really takes the longest. My anticipation is that each of these patients is going to spend several months with us, and then ultimately be able to be discharged back home to Hawaii, where they may or may not spend time in acute rehabilitation. They are all doing very well. Everybody is stable, good vital signs, good urine output, and we're very happy with where we're at right now. And I do want to take this opportunity to thank my hospital, Valleywise Health, for allowing us to take these patients and providing unbelievable support in terms of personnel and resources. Basically, every division and department here was mobilized to take care of these folks, and that allowed us to do it really, really well. We're a big, busy burn center, and we're used to taking care of lots of sick people, but even this is a bit of a hit for us. But we have absorbed them nicely, and we're in great shape right now. And I think I'm going to stop talking and see if you have any questions.
Hi, this is Kristen Concilio, KITV. I do have a question. So, everyone is expected to survive, number one. So, that's great. Number two, how long will it be until they get back to normal or regular day to day life?
Yeah, that's a good question. Uh, yes, our goal is to make sure that all of these patients survive and they all return to home and go back to what they were doing in terms of working, going to school, being with their families. Uh, and it's going to be highly variable. It's difficult to predict. Uh, a lot of it is dependent on the extent of the injuries and how long it takes to get the wounds closed. A lot of it's dependent on individuals themselves, but I think we're looking at between 6 and 12 months for each of these patients before they are back to anything closely resembling normal function.
And sorry, are they all awake or are they still intubated and unconscious?
Everybody is still intubated, and most of them are pretty sleepy and forgetful right now. There are a couple of them whose burn injuries are not quite as serious, who were thinking about waking up and trying to get the breathing tube out. One in particular that we're hoping to do that over the next couple of days. But I think that four of them are going to be intubated and sedated and basically in a drug induced coma for weeks before they're able to be awakened.
Yeah, so are they out of the woods, would you say?
Yes, I would. That's not a promise. Burn injuries are really tough to deal with, and we've gotten over the first big hump, which is resuscitation, and we're in the middle of the second big hump, which is excising all of the burn, and then the third big hump is getting the wounds closed, and that tends to be the most dangerous time for burn patients because that's when they get infections, which is the most feared and dangerous complication for burn patients. And all of these patients will get infections at some point in time. It's just the way burn injury works, especially when you have large percent total body surface area burns like this. But by and large, yes, they are all out of the woods now.
Do you know if this is the first time that Hawaii residents have been treated at your hospital for these types of burn injuries?
It's not. We're in, pretty close geographic proximity to Hawaii, although the distance is far. As far as being on the mainland, we're pretty close. And so it's not unusual for us to have people from Hawaii who get burned while visiting Arizona, visiting the mainland. So, no, we have taken care of patients from Hawaii multiple times in the past, but we've never had this experience of taking direct transfers from Hawaii, especially with this number of patients and this level of acuity. So this is unique.
Dr. Foster, you mentioned support from the hospital. I'm assuming some of these people have family members with them. Can you speak to resources the hospital is providing or connecting their family members with while they're here?
Yeah, so family members are starting to show up, and we do have some support in the hospital, and we have a couple of foundations that are affiliated with the hospital, and we will be providing housing for these folks and places for them to stay. And we've actually had a couple of people who work here in the burn center who have volunteered their homes. So we will make sure that we take good care of the families and that they don't suffer any unnecessary hardships being this far away from home to be with their loved ones.
Hi, doctor. Could you talk about some of the long-term effects some of these patients might have, when they do eventually recover and, like you said, are back to their normal lives?
Yeah, so that is a great question, and my answer is 4 hours long. So I will try and abbreviate it. Obviously, the biggest thing that burn patients have to deal with are the scars and the physical limitations that go along with that. But we have the best burn therapists in the world who work at our institution, 18 of them, and we will make sure that we take really good care of patients from that perspective. But that is what makes most burn injuries of this magnitude lifelong injuries. Getting over the physical limitations and the scars. So that's number one. Most of these patients did not suffer smoke inhalation injuries, so that fortunately is not going to be something. But then the other big thing that we worry about are the psychological aspects of being burned. There's something uniquely and particularly horrifying about being burned, especially from this type of injury. And we anticipate that all of these patients are going to have some adjustment issues. I suspect that many, if not all of them, will end up with post-traumatic stress disorder. And we have 2 full-time psychologists and a psychiatrist on board help with that transition. But yeah, the physical and psychological aspects of burn injury are tremendous, and it requires a lot of effort, but that's what we do here, and we will get these patients through it.
When the patients return to Hawaii, will they get to go home or will they have to return to the burn unit?
That's another
here?
really good question. A lot of that is going to depend on the patients and the families. We are prepared to take care of them until they are ready to be discharged completely from the hospital. Usually burn patients will spend some time in acute rehabilitation. Sometimes we keep them here and we do their rehabilitation here. So a lot of it's really going to depend on the patients and their families. If the patients and their families are happy here and they want to continue their treatment until the end here, we're happy with that. If they would like to transition back toward home earlier than that, we're happy to facilitate that too. So we're going to play that by ear. But for the next couple of months, they're going to be with us. So again, this has been a very positive experience in the midst of a really horrifying disaster. And the amount of effort and kindness and love that was expressed in taking care of these patients and getting them from one place to another has really been tremendous. And I'm really glad to be part of that. And I wish the world worked like this all the time.
One follow-up, Dr. Foster, you said this is, you're certainly handling these patients, but it is, you said a little bit of a hit. Is there still capacity in the burn unit?
We always have capacity. We never close. We never say no. So yes, we still have capacity. And I'm sorry, in addition to taking care of the patients from Hawaii, we are, as one of the largest burn centers in the United States, and we still have to take care of the patients here in the southwestern United States. So yes, we do have capacity. And I'm sorry, I interrupted the next person.
Oh, no worries at all. I was just going to ask how many beds you still have available at the burn center.
Well, we have 50 beds total within the burn center proper. We oftentimes exceed that capacity and we board patients elsewhere. Right now we have 10 open beds in the burn center, but we can always move patients elsewhere if we need to.
One more question. With them being in a drug-induced coma, like you mentioned, when they wake up, are they going to be confused of where they are?
Yeah, we anticipate that they will be. We've already discussed that and how we're going to deal with that. Fortunately, by that time, we'll have family members here, and the transition from being sleepy and forgetful to being awake is usually pretty gentle and easy. And we've done things like this many times before, so we will be prepared for it. But yeah, it will be a little bit of a shock to have your last memory being at a New Year's party in Oahu, Hawaii, and now waking up in Phoenix, Arizona.
Do you expect many of the patients will remember the incident itself?
The patients usually do. So yes.
We had an online question. What determines when a patient is ready to be discharged?
So we had an online question, what determines when a patient is ready to be discharged? And that's a multifactorial question, and it's highly patient and family dependent. Sometimes patients have tremendous resources outside of the hospital in terms of people and equipment and transportation, and those patients can be discharged a little bit earlier. Sometimes patients don't have any of that, and we have to hang on to them until they are so-called bomb-proof before we let them go home. So that's really highly individualized, and we base it on what the patient's needs are and what their capabilities are. Okay, I'm getting the this sign, which means I'm supposed to stop talking. So I think I'm going to do that right now. I really am very grateful for all of you for covering this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.